After the recent debacle that was Captain Marvel, it's quite fitting that my next video in my superhero review series is going to be taking a look at 2017's Wonder Woman. So in this video I'm going to take a look at how Wonder Woman got it right, so please take notes Marvel, take notes Disney, and take notes Brie Larson. Brie Larson especially. Hey everyone, I'm Jim and welcome back to My Movie Obsession, a place of film obsessives and geeky movie fans. If you're like me and you're obsessed with retro nostalgic movies from the 90s as well as superhero movies, you're probably in the right place, and please consider subscribing and we can discuss our movie obsession. It's time to take an in-depth look at a female superhero movie which didn't need to shit all over men to get ahead. So let's take an in-depth look at Wonder Woman. And that'll be the last jab at Captain Marvel in this video. I promise.
You liar!
Development for a live-action Wonder Woman feature film began in 1996, with Ivan Reitman attached as a producer and possible director. In 1999, the project became attached to John Cohen, who adapted Wonder Woman for producer Joel Silver, with the hope that Sandra Bullock would star. By 2001, Todd Alcock was hired to write the screenplay, with Silver Pictures backing the project. At that time, performers such as Mariah Carey and Catherine Zeta-Jones were also rumoured to be possible candidates for the role of Wonder Woman. In March 2005, Warner Bros. And Silver Pictures announced that Joss Whedon would write and direct the film. However, Whedon was not able to complete a final version of his screenplay and left the project in 2007. Although Whedon stated in May 2005 that he would not cast the part of Wonder Woman till he finished the script, Kate Beckinsale was linked to him. In 2010, Whedon admitted that he did have an actress in mind for the part, stating that Wonder Woman was basically Angelina Jolie. Whedon departed from the project shortly after this, and another director pitched an idea for Wonder Woman, none other than Paul Feig, the absolute git who brought us Ghostbusters 2016. Paul Feig had pitched the studio an idea for a Wonder Woman movie as an action comedy. I just got a vision of Wonder Woman with Ghostbusters 2016 humour.
Deleted.
The studio then began search for female directors to direct the movie. While Michelle McLaren was the studio's initial choice to direct, she eventually left the project due to creative differences. In 2015, Patty Jenkins accepted an offer to direct Wonder Woman, based on a screenplay by Alan Heinberg and a story co-written by Heinberg, Zack Snyder, Jeff Johns and Jason Fuchs. The 1940s Wonder Woman, as well as George Perez's seminal stories in the 80s, in which he modernised the character, was cited as inspiration. In addition, it follows some aspects of DC Comics' origin changes in the New 52 reboot, where Diana is now the daughter of Zeus. Richard Donner's Superman was also cited as an inspiration for the movie. Gal Gadot got her part shortly after she decided to give up on acting, being unsuccessful at landing roles and tired of regularly taking 15-hour planes back to Israel. However, when she was invited for a screen test, she was not told what the film was about, and she agreed as a kind of final thing before she quit. The screen test consisted largely of reading relatively anonymous dialogue, and she left afterward to return to Israel. However, she received a call back, and only then was she told that she was shortlisted to play Wonder Woman. How cool is that? Gadot was floored at the idea of playing the iconic superhero, and she eagerly agreed to participate. Gadot underwent a diet and training regimen, practiced different martial arts and gained 17 pounds of muscle for the role. Gadot was actually previously offered a different role as a villain in Man of Steel, which she declined because she was pregnant at the time. This allowed her to be later cast as Wonder Woman in the film's follow-up. Wonder Woman had its world premiere in Shanghai on May 15, 2017, and it was released in the United States on June 2, 2017. The film received largely positive reviews, with praise for direction, visuals, storyline and of course Gal Gadot's strong performance. The movie set numerous box office records. It's the 8th highest grossing superhero film domestically and the 24th highest grossing in the United States. It grossed over 821 million worldwide, making it the 10th highest grossing film of 2017. It also helped the DCEU to push past 3 billion at the worldwide box office, making it the 14th highest grossing film franchise of all time. As of August 2018, Rotten Tomatoes has listed the movie as number 3 on its list of the best superhero movies of all time. and the American Film Institute selected it as one of the top 10 movies of the year. In short, Wonder Woman proved she could completely smash it at the box office, which makes you wonder why they took so long to make a Wonder Woman movie. I mean, she's part of the Trinity of DC. Green Lantern got a movie before Wonder Woman. Jonah bloody Hex got a movie before Wonder Woman. Elektra from Marvel got a movie before Wonder Woman. It's bloody mental.
How could he say that? Believe that?
Wonder Woman tells the story of an Amazonian princess named Diana who sets out to stop World War I when she meets an American pilot called Steve Trevor who informs her of the conflict, which she believes was started by the long-time enemy of the Amazons named Ares. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman puts in one of the most sympathetic superhero performances in recent memory. She's so likeable. Sure, she's idealistic, but that's how superheroes should be. Well, other than Batman, because he's a grumpy bastard. Wait, come to think of it, so was Superman in BVS. Damn it, it was time for some idealism. There is so much purity and humanity in her performance, and you can just feel the love and compassion for people Diana has. For me, I've always loved films about empathy and seeing the best in people, and this movie, aided by her character and performance, is a fantastic example of that. The only real problem I have with the idealistic nature of this film is this line here.
It's Etta Candy. I'm Steve Trevor's secretary.
What is a secretary?
Ooh, well, I do everything. I go where he tells me to go and I do what he tells me to do.
Oh, well, where I'm from, that's called slavery.
So it's slavery without the dehumanisation, whippings, emotional abuse, and not getting paid. Oh, and you get days off. That's not slavery, Diana, you ignorant bitch. I suppose the ultimate question to ask is whether Gal Gadot is better than the iconic Linda Carter from the 70s TV show. I'm a huge fan of this show. It's not perfect, but just like the 70s Incredible Hulk, there is a real charm to these nostalgic shows. Linda Carter was a fantastic Wonder Woman, although at times she was slightly wooden.
You must now tell the truth. You are working with the Falcon.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Where is the Falcon? You must tell me, please. Where is the Falcon?
Most of the time she was really charismatic in the role, however, and played it with a real wholesome and charming take. I must admit, I do prefer Linda's look as the character, probably because of her costume. I think it's more memorable and cool to look at than the movie version. However, overall, Gal Gadot elevates Wonder Woman for sure, and takes what Linda Carter did to a whole new level, giving Wonder Woman some depth, more iconic moments and more emotion. When we see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, we feel like we are seeing the Wonder Woman of the comics, and that's why she is the truest translation of the character so far. Wonder Woman contains moments of Diana showing her sass and standing up to those in power. However, Wonder Woman is not written how social justice warriors would write her. She's not a hardcore feminist, she's a humanist. She stands up for humanity, everyone. Take notes, Captain Marvel, to be a superhero you don't pick one side. If you're just standing up for women, then you're not a superhero. A superhero stands up for everyone and excludes no one, just like Wonder Woman. It's just great seeing Diana give her sass to people who are treating others unfairly. I can really relate in these moments. I've always felt like I want to go off on politicians, people in power, people who give orders. Maybe it's the socialist in me, but I've never really understood hierarchy and why some people get to avoid the grind normal people go through just because they have more money or were born into prestige. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a crazy hardcore socialist. I see the many limitations and problems in the way it has been implemented over the years, but there are certain values there I identify with. Wonder Woman is so passionate when she asks why the generals don't fight with their soldiers, and it breaks my heart to think back how many young men have died in war while some posh guy sits there with his feet up forcing kids to do it all for him. Wonder Woman campaigns for the vulnerable and questions authority, which for me is a great example to set. It's so easy to be desensitized to injustice in the world and just accept that's the way it is, but Diana's passionate non-compliance is really something to be admired and adopted in a world that sometimes loses touch with the fact that we are all human beings and we are all the same. While the action scenes seem to go over your head in BVS and Justice League, these ones feel incredibly epic and larger than life. Unlike some of the BVS action scenes, they don't feel self-indulgent, they feel earned, and the emotion and love that has been built up for Wonder Woman really serves the action well. The scenes are not just exciting, but you genuinely care because you want to know what will happen to the character and you root for her. The villain of the film, Ares, played by David Thewlis, is suitably creepy, and Wonder Woman's fight with him keeps you glued to the screen. It feels like such an epic battle between good and evil that the film has built up to. Ares tries to get in Diana's head and preys on her desire for a better world. He tells her the only way to achieve peace would be to eliminate all humans and start again, because they are inherently corrupt. What is it with comic book villains and believing the only way to teach us a lesson is to kill us off? There must be some way to deal with humans destroying themselves. Education, discussion, communication. Nah, fuck it, we'll go for genocide. This movie is a must-see simply for one of the greatest action scenes I have witnessed in recent years. Wonder Woman racing across the World War I battlefield. Enough said. You can't get better than that. This scene has so much passion and intensity to it, and you really feel like all Diana's frustration and conviction is being unleashed. It's time for her to stand up and fight to the end for what she believes in. The Amazonia scenes are absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the best openings in all of DC movies. Wonder Woman's homeland is perfectly created, and we are truly absorbed into her way of life and the place she is from. These scenes remind me of the early scenes of Man of Steel. I ended up wanting to see a movie of the Krypton scenes in that movie, and boy would I also love to see a movie set in Amazonia. Amazonia is beautiful, magical, memorable, and the scenes are shot so effectively, you really feel like you were transported back in time to a real historical time period. It's so believable. Diana's family is savage too, they don't give a shit. I wouldn't want to mess with these women, they kick your ass.
How can you say that? What is the matter with you?
Chris Pine puts in an extremely likeable performance as Steve Trevor. As always, he is charismatic, cool and sympathetic, but he's also a flawed character with room for improvement, and one of the main themes of the film is how Diana changes the people around her for the better, including Steve Trevor. I think this is one of the best romances I've seen in a superhero movie for a long time. These two characters actually have reasons to like each other, they actually learn from each other and they change together. The relationship has so many layers and you can't help but get invested. The chemistry is definitely there in this slow burning romance, and it is a believable and sweet love story. Diana teaches Steve the importance of empathy and compassion, and Steve teaches Diana the joys of an intimate relationship and how to fall in love with someone on a romantic level. Now, I don't want to be graphic, but I've always thought this about superheroes. How do you sleep with a superhero? Surely when Lois sleeps with Superman in the comics, she won't wake up. The man is made of steel. He's got a super cock. I can't help thinking that if you had sex with Wonder Woman, you'd go through the bed. At the very least. At the least you'd go through the bed. At the most you'd go through the centre of the earth. The movie was a lot more optimistic and happy than Batman v Superman, so it was a bit jarring coming straight after that movie. Again, I always have to wonder if the order of the DCU movies was one of the big problems. Maybe we'd be okay with the darkness of BVS if it was the culmination of several DC movies with lighter tones. Kinda like a dark and serious culmination to everything we had seen. Kinda like Avengers Endgame is going to be. Nevertheless, DC took a hopeful turn with Wonder Woman. It was a more complete and coherent film. It was actually about something, and Gadot's Wonder Woman claimed her place standing tall besides any male superhero out there. Feminism isn't about attacking everyone who doesn't agree with you or guilting men. It's about men and women living side by side in harmony. Men were not excluded in this movie, they were inspired. Women were elevated and men were invited to the party too. That was Wonder Woman. She's a strong woman who doesn't hold gender against anyone, but also won't allow anyone to hold it against her. This is how you do it, Marvel. You guys should rewatch Wonder Woman. Brie Larson should watch Wonder Woman. The second you have to push a female hero down our throats, you failed. But the second men and women both are respected and treated as equals by the material on screen, you've succeeded. Wonder Woman didn't need a long marketing campaign of Gal Gadot putting down men to elevate her movie. Her performance in her movie was strong enough to stand on their own 2 feet. And that's true feminism, a woman standing tall without having to force it. The whole build up to Captain Marvel felt like Brie Larson trying to force you to accept her, and if you didn't, you were censored, or you didn't matter, or you were called sexist. Whereas the build up to Wonder Woman was Gal Gadot inviting you to stand by her, man or woman, for an unforgettable movie event. The focus was on the material, the character and the ideas, not identity politics and a desperate need for acceptance. Wonder Woman was fantastic, and it came just at the right time for DC. It's a shame they couldn't keep that momentum for the next film, but we'll save that for the next superhero review when I tackle Justice League. Thanks for watching everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider checking out my playlist of superhero movie reviews, and please consider subscribing. The main focus of this channel is superhero reviews as well as retro movie reviews from the 80s and 90s. I'm going to be talking about Justice League, of course, but I'm also working on a retro movie review of Dumb and Dumber, so stay tuned for that. Let me know what you think of Wonder Woman in the comments down below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? And I will see you guys in the next video.